Last time, you saw a bit of Brazil, and this time we spend the holidays with family and show you what it takes to bring John's dog Sunny back to Brazil with us.
When we wake, hear the birds and see the sun. Side by side our fears are done. Oh, the good times just begun. Oh, we know what we have, let's hold on tight. Found what we're looking for in life. Oh.
We had a great time visiting family over the holidays, but as you grandparents know, seeing the grandkids is the best Christmas gift ever.
Look at that. That was good.
We met John's daughter and her family in Arizona before Christmas. We spent time with my parents in Texas and then visited John's son and daughter-in-law who proudly serve in the U.S. Air Force. Meet Sunny. He is an 11-year-old golden retriever black lab mix. John adopted him when he was 6 weeks old from a girl in a Safeway parking lot, and then brought him home all zipped up in his motorcycle jacket, and they have been inseparable ever since. We couldn't bring Sunny across the Atlantic because neither St. Helena or Ascension would allow us to stop with a dog, so John's daughter kept him for us until we could come and get him. As soon as we arrived in the U.S., John started contacting companies to have Sunny shipped down to Brazil so he could join us for the rest of the trip. During COVID, most of the airlines stopped allowing you to check pets into cargo. So that left a gap in the market for a lot of private companies to step in and coordinate with various cargo shippers. I won't name any names because frankly they were every single one awful. They either didn't reply to us at all, or they took weeks and weeks to reply, or they couldn't get their information straight. One company, we actually told them multiple times what our final destination was, and they still couldn't get it right. The one quote we did get required us to take Sunny to Miami from Texas. They would fly him from Miami to Sao Paulo, and that's it. That's all they would do. We had to figure out how to get him from Sao Paulo onto Recife and Capitelo. They wanted over $6,000 for that. It was ridiculous. Thankfully, we found American Airlines Pet Embark. And American Airlines works with their own cargo company to ship your pet in various locations. I will put a link to their website below. We go to their website, it shows you all of the paperwork and shows you all of the steps. First, you have to make sure that your dog is of the right age, old enough to go. They have restrictions on age. They have restrictions on type of breed. You need to make sure that your route is available and that your route has a compatible plane. You also need to make sure that the day of departure and the day of arrival at those locations will be less than 85 degrees Fahrenheit. If either one of those are over 85 degrees, they won't ship the pet. The next step is to make sure that you purchase a kennel that will meet their specifications. It has to be the right size for the dog so that he has plenty of room. It has to be escape proof. It has to be secured top and bottom with metal bolts and screws, not anything plastic. It has to have ventilation on 4 sides for international, 3 sides for domestic, and the vent holes have to be no more than 1 inch by 1 inch for a dog. The door must be made of metal, and it needs to have holes in the frame at the door so that the door can be zip tied shut and keep it secure. They require that you have 2 dishes, one for food and one for water, so that the dog can easily access it on the inside and the cargo staff can access it from the outside. And you must add a 1-gallon bag of food taped to the top of the kennel in case there's delays and they need more food. Once you have done all that, then you click the Make a Reservation button and you enter in all of the specs for the size of the kennel, the weight of the kennel, and the weight of the dog. And American Airlines will reply usually within 24 hours. They replied really quickly with a quote telling you what it would take to get your dog to the destination. At that point, you then either confirm or say no to the reservation. And if you confirm that, then they will reply back to you with further directions, where you will take the dog, what kind of time frame, and also with a list of documentation that they will want you to fill out and bring with you. Plus, during this whole process, we needed to make sure that we had the proper documentation to get Sunny into Brazil. So their requirement was that he be microchipped and that we have a health certificate completed by a USDA veterinarian, and that he had a specific list of vaccinations and parasite treatments. The only USDA certified vet in all of West Texas was the University Small Animal Clinic in Odessa, Texas. And they had done these types of certificates numerous times, so they knew time was of the essence. They got us into their offices very quickly, and she performed the health evaluation and gave him the parasite treatment. He'd already had all of his shots. Then she uploaded all of that information into the USDA website that generated the official certificate, and she emailed that certificate back to us. 4 hours before our departure, we had to drop Sunny off at the American Airlines cargo building at the Dallas-Fort Worth airport. And the ladies there, it was a very smooth process. The ladies there were very friendly, and you could really tell they liked pets. So they weighed Sunny, they made sure we had all the proper documentation, and we left Sunny there. A short 10 hours later, we arrived in Sao Paulo. What we thought would be a simple pickup process was anything but. So, by the time we found the cargo building, which wasn't easy to find or get to, it was just about noon, and they closed for lunch. So they asked us to return at 2 o'clock. Poor Sunny had been in that kennel for 12 to 15 hours, and he had to wait 2 more hours. We returned back at 2 o'clock after visiting 3 different governmental offices that I don't even know what they were for, and paying 2 of them more money.
This one here. Passport, please. O que mais?
O ticket de passagem aérea.
Your o air ticket.
O dele. É o dele.
Não?
Passaporte, isso.
Oi. Então, tem uma tarifação para preço. Tá dizendo lá na receita. Você ajuda o cara? Você sabe um pouquinho de inglês, não? Não, tudo bem. Vê aí quanto.
We then were escorted to a secure storage area where Sunny was. And again, more long discussions that we have no idea what they were about. We finally had Sunny with us. Thanks to a very friendly worker at the cargo port who had a van, he gave us a ride to our hotel. 7 hours after arriving in Sao Paulo, we finally had Sunny at the hotel with us. So this is my kind of hotel. When we checked in, of course that's too small for Sunny, but that's okay. But they had to put a bed, and they put food dishes, and then they have this little gift box. This is a pee pad, and not that Sunny will need it. And then look at this. There's dentist sticks, there's food. Oh my goodness. It's like a week's worth of food. Aw, that's so cool. The next morning, we checked Sunny into LATAM Airlines. It was a very simple process. I had made a reservation online, and it was very similar to how the U.S. airlines used to be before COVID. So after a 3-hour flight to Recife, obrigada. And a 2-hour taxi ride to Cabedelo. We finally had Sunny back on the boat. The next step is to start working on getting Sunny into Trinidad and Tobago. I start by searching for the country regulations online. I always look for the direct source, such as the country's Department of Health or Ministry of Agriculture website. In this case, Trinidad requires a rabies titer test that had to be administered by certain labs, and that meant sending a blood sample overseas and a long delay. So we decided to skip Trinidad and go straight to Grenada. It is much easier to get a dog into Grenada. It required a current health certificate, which meant visiting a local vet and then emailing that certificate to the Chief Veterinary Officer of Grenada. Thank you for watching. Next time we provision and we set sail to Grenada with only a couple of minor disasters along the way.